volume. Hold on a second. Make sure the volume. Okay. Okay, we are live. We are live. Okay. Have you ever wondered why, despite all your achievements, you still don't feel truly confident, alive, or at peace? Well, if you felt like that, you had experienced that, then let me tell you, you are not alone. And I used to ask myself that question. Actually, that question got me started on this transformation journey. What I learned ever since is what got you here won't get you there. So, what does that mean? It means that the very patterns that made you successful now actually draining your energy, joy, and freedom. Your success patterns become your suffering patterns. What? Yes. Your success patterns become your suffering patterns. What are those patterns? Yes. Today I'm going to share with you top 5 of those patterns. Those patterns have allowed you to check a lot of boxes and have allowed you to achieve the outer success and all those external achievements, but somehow inside you don't feel great. You don't feel good about your life. You don't feel at peace. And you don't feel joyful and fulfilled as you could. And these top 5 patterns, you may identify with one of them, or you may identify with all of them. I used to have all of them, and I were not even aware. And those patterns were like full on for decades. And it ultimately drove me to the brink of exhaustion and burnout. And today, you are going to have a moment of insights, a moment of awareness, and almost maybe a moment of awakening. It's like, oh, that's why. And also, well, it's with a note of hope, because once you know what's going on, then you can change it. And I am a living example of how you can change those patterns. So the first one is inner critic. This voice inside of you somehow, beat yourself up, whether it's over a mistake that you made, or that you didn't meet your own expectations, or when you compare yourself to others, and that just this voice, a harsh critical voice says, why did I say that? I could have done better. I should have known better. I always mess things up, right? The subtle voice, sometimes you don't even notice. But when you truly pay attention to it, you hear it. Is this voice, at the heart of it is some version of, I'm not enough. And how has this pattern helped you to be successful? Because being so hard on yourself, you push yourself to prepare more, work harder, and raise standards higher than everyone else. You have this impossible standards. And that's exactly what creates the polished, high-performing, and successful version of you. Excuse me. And that was me. I was so hard on myself all the time. I didn't even know until my coaches pointed out to me, say, Coco, I've noticed you're so hard on yourself. You didn't need to be this way. So that's was a moment of me realizing what's happening. Okay, so the first one. The second one is perfectionism. And just this voice inside of you says that if it's not flawless, I felt everything need to be perfect. And one mistake could ruin anything. And I cannot make mistakes. So with that, you obsess over details. You double check, triple check your work. You refine your slides until they are flawless. And you deliver results that just look excellent. And which earns your reputation for being excellent. And that was me. I used to go over, I was on a high level, right, high visibility project. I had to write this email to key stakeholders, including our CEO. I would spend literally hours editing that email, looking it over like 10 times, double check, triple check, make sure everything just like so buttoned up. And yes, that made me, you know, people see me as this professional excellence, right? That really helped me to, you know, my job performance. So that's the second one, perfectionism. The third one is overachieving. Just this desire to go above and beyond. 100% is enough. It's not enough. 120% has to be the best. Always need to, you know, chase the next goal and take on stretch projects. You need to prove yourself over and over again. And you always want to be the first one to get promoted. That was me. And after graduating from business school, there was a class of us, of like 10 of us joined the company at the same time, all a bunch of ambitious MBA graduates. And I always wanted to be the one that get promoted, because we all get promoted, you know, one couple of years, right? And I was the one always want to get promoted up first. Most of the time I did, but the time when I didn't, I felt so bad about myself. But that drive just kept pushing me to the top. So that is probably what you have as well. And with that, you also tie your identity to your work. You think you are your work, and when you do well at work, then you feel good about yourselves. But when your performance is not as well as you think you being perceived, then you feel bad about yourself, right? That drive just keep pushing you to do more, to do better, and to be the highest performing person. So that third, the fourth one is people pleasing. The desire of, I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I don't want to upset anyone. So you say yes when you want to say no, because you're thinking if I push back, they'll think less of me. You have no boundaries. You check your emails late in the evenings, first in the morning on your vacations. You say yes to the projects get thrown at you at the last minute with tight deadlines. You just take them on. And that makes you what? The reliable one, the responsible one, the team player everybody can count on. That earns your reputation and strengthens your reputation and your relationships. And your bosses like you, love you. Right? Who doesn't? The people pleaser. The last one is the doer. The doer is that you're thinking, if I stop, everything will fall apart. You feel guilty slowing down. Even though you're really tired, you are saying to yourself, I should have done more today. I did multiple, my clients, I've said that. They're like, I did really well. My boss gave me an incredible evaluation on my performance, but I feel like I can do more. What's the end, right? But that belief keeps you pushing through. Steps in when others don't. And you're handling crisis. Even though you are tired, even though you already have so much on your plate, even though you're struggling, and even though your work and life balance is a mess. But that's why you are seen as the one who always get the shit done, right? And you wear it as a badge of honor. You're capable, you're competent. You're just like this tough cookie. And that was me too. As I said, I had all of those and I wasn't even aware until I started this work. Then I realized, oh my God, the cost. What's the cost of operating on those patterns? The hidden costs of the success patterns literally make you suffer. The first one, inner critic. This of not thinking, the thought of you're not enough. So the constant self-criticism, it's literally a self-attack. You are attacking yourself. When you attack yourself, what happens? It triggers the stress response. It triggers the fight or flight. And that puts your body, feels like put your body under threat and in danger. Like literally 24/7. Because that voice, you're saying that to yourself all the time. And with that, you know what does it to your body? When your body is under stress, it uses a lot of energy to protect you, to mobilize you, to run away from danger, to fight with the danger. So that's what's happening. So that's, you feel emotionally and physically drained at the end of the day, and that's a big contributor. Then also, when you are under attack and in fight or flight, your full brain is offline. The part of the brain, executive function part of your brain, prefrontal cortex, is turned off. That's biology. It's that's what science shows. So then with that, then you are not able to think clearly, learn as fast, and creatively problem solve. You are just not performing at your highest level. And with this beating yourself up, and guess what? You constantly second guess yourself, right? It's like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. I could have done this. It's so stupid for me to do that. All of those little things here and there, you're just chipping away your confidence, because you just feel no matter what you do, it's never enough. And with that, also felt never satisfied. Because if you always felt never enough, then no matter how much you accomplish, you never feel satisfied. So that's the cost of the pattern of inner critic. What's the cost of perfectionism? With perfectionism, to avoid mistakes, what do? You overthink, you overwork, you overprepare. And it's exhausting. And it wastes a lot of energy. That email I sent, the emails I sent to my CEO, did I really need to spend hours on it? Look at it, editing it like 10 times? Totally not necessary. It became diminished return. That time, if I've spent 4 hours on it, I could have just spent 30 minutes, an hour. Then the 3 hours I had, I could have done something more productive, or something that, or just rest. That's way more productive than obsessing over this one email. Because at the end of the day, perfection doesn't exist. Then with that, you feel like a failure most of the time because it doesn't exist. Then of course, there's always things you can do better, right? There's always something you miss. There's always something that could have said and done differently. With that, you feel like, I'm just like, can never be perfect. And you feel like a failure. Third, overachieving. What's the cost of overachieving? Tie your identity to your work. Tie your identity to external achievement. I coached 2 clients. They got laid off, and they were high performers, and they got laid off for various different reasons. When they first came to see me, both of them, their confidence were shattered. The way they saw themselves, they told me they said, I felt like a failure, I felt like a loser, I felt like I'm worthless. That's what's happening when you have this overachieving tendency, when you tie your sense of worth to your work. Because you are not your work. And also, it feels like this chase of the chase, external achievement, just keep chasing it, literally feel like a treadmill. Never ending. There's no end to it. And once you check a box, once you get that promotion, once you get that title, it loses its meaning very quickly. And you struggle to feel joy in the success that you worked so hard for. Because it's a bottomless hole inside of you until you know your intrinsic worth. When you tie your identity to who you are at the core, external achievement is never enough. The next one, people pleasing at cost. At what cost? Your cost is that your own needs are not being met. Your physical needs, you're not getting enough, probably sleep, rest, and you are not getting emotional support. And with all of that, you run on empty. You have an empty tank. With that, you have nothing to give. You feel depleted, resentful, and disconnected from what you really want. Many high achieving women come to me because of that. They feel tired. They're just so tired, and I'm just like feeling so lost and confused. I worked so hard for this, and I don't even know, it doesn't bring me any joy and fulfillment anymore. And I don't even know what I want. And that is what's happening. That's the cost of constantly people pleasing. The last one, the doer. The doer, the non-stop doing. This at what cost? The most basic level, your health suffers. Your health suffers. It's biology, the same thing. When you're in constant go, 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 do, this the sympathetic activation, your nervous system is just being activated all the time, meaning that it feels that you are under threat all the time. When it's under threat, it uses a lot of your energy. And with that, it actually damages your cell. And so with that, because it uses a lot of energy, then you feel like your energy is low. You lack vitality. Your energy is low, then you are not doing the things that really light you up. Just feel like everything is a grind. When everything is a grind, when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, as I mentioned earlier, your full brain is offline. When your full brain is offline, then there's no space for creativity, for joy, for peace, or true fulfillment. So as you can hear, the cost is hefty. Very, very costly. But also I want to tell you is that all these patterns, all these 5 patterns that we are, we're talking here, is that it's not your fault. Because they often started as childhood survival strategy. You needed to be those ways to survive in your childhood environment. So for inner critic, I give you my personal example, right? How this inner critic became my success pattern is because my parents, not just my parents, my teachers, my grandparents were all very critical of me. And when they were critical of me, I internalized their voice also for me. And then once I internalized that voice, then I was like, oh, okay, if I'm critical to myself, if I am critical to myself, then guess what? Then I can avoid that mistake. Then I can push myself harder. Then I can avoid hearing criticism from adults in my life. That's one. Perfectionism, same thing. It wasn't safe for me to make mistakes when I was younger. When I made mistakes, especially academic mistakes, or even being naughty, right? Did something silly or wrong. I remember, anyhow, just do those things. I faced corporal punishment. Literally physical danger. So it trained my system to avoid mistakes, to overthink, over-prepare, overwork, overachieving. Same. My parents focused so much on academic achievement. If I got good grades, I could have gotten, well, I got the award certificate were put up on the wall. I would get some pocket money and they would give me my favorite snacks. But if I didn't, if I didn't bring home straight A's, same thing, corporal punishment. Like, no joke, was so scary. Many times I was scared to go home because I didn't get an A. So that was ingrained in me. And people pleasing, it was the same. It was saying no was not okay. I had to listen to adults, had listened to authority. Can never challenge what my dads told me or teachers told me. Just not acceptable. So with that, it was just all about saying yes, making others happy. The doer too is that I was rewarded for being productive. I was asked to do household chores at a very young age, and also home was pretty chaotic, and being quiet and peaceful at home wasn't an option. So I was trained just to be very active and do things at school constantly, nonstop. All of that. So it's very much trained our nervous system. All of this is to train our nervous system that making mistakes is not safe, not overachieving is not safe, saying no is not safe, not doing anything is not safe, right? Resting is not safe. So that's where it's coming from. It's those survival strategies helped us to stay safe, to earn love, avoid punishment. Then they stayed with us because it's become this automatic survival mechanism, an autopilot. We're doing it, we do not even realize we're doing it. And we got rewarded for it. That's another one, right? We got rewarded for it because they got you, well, your top grades, praise, promotions, recognitions, money, promotions and titles and prestige. All of that. Also, companies reward these behaviors too. They love people who are like us. Right? They love that we are going above and beyond, taking on more responsibilities and no boundaries and being available 24/7. They reward us by giving us pay raise, promotions, or just good performance reviews, all of those things. So that's what have kept us being stuck in that cycle for many, many years. Until now, you're like, oh, I checked all the boxes. I have done all of that. But why? But why I'm not happy? But why I'm exhausted and do not feel joy in my life and just feel empty. And that's why. Remember, these patterns are not your personalities. They are not. They are protective strategies. So that's good news because that means you can change them. But also, right, they're not personality, but because that they're success strategies, the success patterns, those success patterns, now make you suffer. So keep you in this survival mode instead of thriving. So in order for you to get to your next level is more peace, more joy, more confidence, more calm, more fulfillment. Isn't that the life that you want? It's not just more money. Money can only get you so far. You want the internal stuff, right? The sense of contentment and happiness. In order to get there, you need to release all those patterns. And you can. And here is the path. I call it 3R. 3R reset. The first R is all about nervous system. Reset your nervous system. As I mentioned earlier, all of those patterns, it's very much survival strategy is about keeping you safe. That's what our nervous system's primary role, to keep you safe. So we associate, I use perfectionism as example. Making mistakes is not safe. Being perfect is safe. And when this perfectionism tendency kicks in, when you are looking at when you're working on an email, let's say, or working on a presentation, when this perfectionism kicks in, your body just goes to this fight or flight. You feel tense, restless, or even panicked about getting it just right. I can give you a story. Well, earlier this year, yes. So I've been doing public speaking for a long time. I have no problem of presenting in front of an audience or like online if I'm prepared. If I'm prepared, I'm fine. But when it comes to live streaming online was so scary for me. I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it. Then my coach helped me understand why. The reason why is I was so afraid to make a mistake. Because when I do prepared speeches, I can, in general, right? I can prepare in advance, so I have more control over that. But when it comes to live streaming, and especially unprepared, impromptu speaking, I can make a mistake, also I cannot change it. I cannot edit it. So that's why it was so scary for me. My nervous system was literally got into fight or flight. So in that moment, what do? What you do is that the first step is to notice those signals. Notice the tension in your body, the heart racing, right, the palm sweating, all of those physical reactions, the racing thoughts, all of that. And you want to bring your system back to safety first. Not through thinking, not through cognitive exercises, but through your body. Because your body, your nervous system lives primarily in your body, and it's way more effective and direct to discharge the tension in your body. Through breath, I would say I use three things: breath, sound, and movement, to ground yourself, center yourself back to safety. Until you reset your body, until you reset your nervous system, the patterns, the survival patterns, will just keep running the show. So you can check out, I have a few episodes on nervous system regulation, and check out the previous episodes. And I dive deep into this subject. Okay, so that's that, the first step, first R. The second R is reframe your parts. It's the compassionate parts work. All of those patterns, survival strategies and success patterns I mentioned earlier, those 5, they are all your protector parts. They're just a part of you that developed when you were younger to protect you. So they're not here to torture you, and they're trying to keep you safe from criticism, failure, or rejection. Underneath it is usually a vulnerable part, right? The vulnerable part that are afraid to be seen as not good enough, all of that. So what you want to do is that you don't want to fight with your perfectionist voice, and you don't want to fight with your protector part. Your protector part have been trying to protect you, so you want to meet it with compassion and appreciation. You want to say to those part, thank you for trying to protect me. I know you're scared of mistakes, but I've got this. Right? This is how you say to perfectionist. The perfectionism. So thank you for trying to protect me. I know you're scared of mistakes, but I've got this. And this is the parts work. You can also listen to my previous episodes on this, that which I did deep dives, which I did deep dive on this work, parts work. Okay, so the last R is rise as your leader. I'll call it wise adult leadership. We all have a wise adult self in us. The wise adult self is the one that when you're calm, when you're centered and grounded, when you're feeling resourceful and you're feeling safe, and you're feeling that you're capable, confident, and competent. So you want to access that part of you. And that part of you that you no longer need perfection to feel safe. You no longer need achievement to feel worthy. You don't no longer need people pleasing to feel good about yourself. And you no longer need the constant doing to prove you are worthy. And you can decide, this is good enough. I'm doing enough. I have enough. My value isn't tied to my work. My value isn't tied to perfection. Only from there, from that place, you can rest without guilt, deliver with confidence, and set boundaries around your time and energy. And that's when you can lead, not from fear, but from alignment, from what is true to you, with clarity and calm confidence. So those are the 3 R resets. First is reset your nervous system. The second is reframe your parts. Be compassionate about all those patterns that you have because they are protector parts. The last one is rise as your leader, as this wise adult leadership. And with that, right, if you see yourself in these patterns, just know this, nothing is wrong with you. These are just old survival strategies that can be rewired. And I am a living example of that. I have rewired, I would say, most of them, and it's still work in progress because they're so deep rooted. But in general, now I am so self-compassionate. I'm so kind to myself. When I make a mistake, big or small, and recently I lost $15,000 for making a wrong decision, have hired a wrong plumber. That's done, right? But I didn't ruminate over that. I didn't feel shamed or guilty about that decision. I told myself, wow, I that was the first time I had to do a big project like that on my house. I didn't know better. I made the best decision at that very moment. So with that, I was able to learn fast and move on. It just saved so much mental energy. And now this perfectionism tendency is so much better. It still shows up once in a while, but I am okay with B minus work. It's good enough. And I feel so much more relaxed. I don't spend hours and hours editing emails anymore. And even for podcasts, when I first started this podcast, I would spend 8 hours working on one episode. 8 hours because I edited out every single flaws. Any long pause, I just like edit the shit out of it. Now, not so much, and I'm okay with that. And so that's that. And overachieving. Well, no more. I'm not tying my identity to external achievement anymore. And I'm so much, it's really right. I was able to leave my high paying corporate job, the title, prestige, all of that to become an entrepreneur and to do something that's truly fulfilling for me and not glamorous at all. But that's what makes me happy. And boundaries, people pleasing, oh, that's a big one. No more. I feel so proud of myself, and I set such clear boundaries these days. And I say yes when I mean it, when I say no, and I'd have no guilt. And recently, I had to almost like a breakup with a good friend because it was just the relationship is not serving me anymore. And I had no, like, I was so at peace with that decision. So at peace. Last one, this doer part of me. Oh, I love resting these days. I work hard for sure, but also I play hard. I truly play hard. I prioritize my joy. I prioritize my, well, exercise. I exercise every morning, and I go out dancing at least once a week, or sometimes more, like two or about once, minimum once or more. I prioritize that no matter what happens. That is my fun time I need to protect. I go to the beach. I love walking on the beach and going into the ocean when the water is calm. This weekend, every single day for 3 days in a row, I spend more than 30 minutes in the ocean. Just relax. Just soak it all in. So I don't rush anymore. I have a lot to accomplish, but I don't have that sense of urgency and hustling no more. So in general, I just feel so calm, grounded, centered, and at peace. I'm present. I'm present with my life. With that, I'm able to experience joy more. Also, because of that, I'm able to, because I rest well now. And I'm not stressed. So that I have full access to my brain. I'm more creative. Actually, I produce more and also produce better work as a result of that. I'm telling you all of this is to show you that it's all possible. If you have all those patterns, the success patterns turned into suffering patterns, those patterns are not yours to keep. You can rewire them. Okay, with that, if you're ready to go deeper, if you are ready to get support on truly rewiring those suffering patterns in accelerated fashion, and I invite you to take the next step with me. Book a free consultation call. This 1-hour consultation call, I'll show you where you are now and what is holding you back and where do you want to go, right? Where you are now, where do you want to go? And where do you want to be? And what is the gap in between? So I'm going to give you a personalized support plan to help you to rewire those patterns and ultimately live a life that is fulfilling to you. So this the link is in the show note. You can click the link in the show note and schedule that call with me. I'm so looking forward to speaking with you.